what you'd expect from the best-selling truck in America. What you may not have expected was how much better the best could get.
Few vehicles have cemented themselves in the hearts and minds of Americans quite like the Ford F-Series pickup truck, and for good reason. It does whatever you want it to. It's as American as measuring things in football fields. Not only has the F-Series been the best-selling truck in America for almost 50 years, it's been the best-selling vehicle in America since 1981. They've sold over 40 million of these things as of 2022, and these days you're more likely to see them carrying high school principals and accountants rather than blue-collar workers. In the mid-1980s, the pickup truck was only just beginning its transition from a utilitarian workhorse to a jack-of-all-trades luxury item, and it's pretty evident on this truck. The 8th Gen F-Series wasn't an entirely new pickup, as the cab and frame were carryovers from the previous generation, but its exterior design was thoroughly revised. Ford spent about 10 minutes designing this generation, resulting in what is possibly the most generic-looking truck to ever exist. That's not to say it looks bad, it's just very much a product of its time. And that said, with modern pickups becoming terrifying monoliths, these older, simpler models are becoming much more appealing. Despite its bland appearance, it was actually a decently innovative truck. It was the first pickup to have rear anti-lock brakes, the first pickup to have fully fuel-injected engine choices, and one of the first pickups with push-button four-wheel drive. The interior is much more interesting. They actually put quite a bit of effort into the overall design, managing to combine glitzy, upper-class touches with work truck simplicity. The 3-across bench seat is decently comfy, but you can only sit bolt upright, which takes some getting used to. The oddly small steering wheel can be rotated from school bus vertical to sports car horizontal, the latter of which is probably the goofiest wheel position I've ever seen in a car. Maneuverability wasn't really that bad, especially considering this is the long bed model. There's a fair amount of play and sway in the steering, which is to be expected from a nearly 35-year-old truck on a lift kit, but it's still totally maneuverable. In this truck, the fuel-injected 302 pushes 185 horsepower and 270 pounds-feet of torque, a respectable amount for the time. This truck has a 4-speed automatic AOD transmission as well. The gas pedal is extremely stiff, and using any throttle on this truck yields a glorious small-block thrum.
I can feel my balls growing.
The V8 never felt short of breath and chugged along just fine. The transmission is so slushy that without a tachometer I genuinely had no idea what gear I was in. But it didn't matter really, it just trundled along and never felt too slow. Granted, the fastest I went on my drive was about 45, so I really don't know how it feels at highway speeds.
It's loud. It is loud.
Of course, it's a V8, it's gonna be a thirsty boy, but save for the fuel economy, there's really no reason you couldn't live with this truck in 2023. For the positives, it's got a great drivetrain, rides pretty well, the engine sounds good, and it's still kinda stylish. For the negatives, it's thirsty despite having 2 fuel tanks, it's not super refined, and it is a little cramped. Overall though, I'd take this truck over pretty much anything from the 90s or 2000s. Dependability and simplicity are key to a truck's design, and that's exactly what you're working with here.